in all the earth.
God.
Just know, like brothers are saying, at one time, everybody knew
Yep.
what type of power we have,
Mm-hmm.
And that, like brother was talking about, that second Exodus, man. Hey, everybody's gonna know.
Yep. Yeah, and then it'll be something that's just never forgotten. Um, verse 13, Salaki, verse 12, it says, "Seeing then that we have such hope, we use great plainness of speech, and not as Moses, which put a veil over his face, that the children of Israel, which, going back to where he received these, tablets that we're reading about, the Ark of the Covenant, it says that the children of Israel could not steadfastly look to the end of that which is abolished. That's how glorious it was that they couldn't even look upon the face of Moses because it was lit up from being in the presence of Yahweh. Verse 14, it says, but their minds were blinded, for until this day remaineth. And that shows you too on that verse 13. It was telling you that the smoke was filled before the covenant, so even the priest couldn't go before it and minister. That's how glorious that covenant was, that Ark of the Covenant. But even all the more so today, verse 14. But their minds were blinded, for until this day remaineth the same veil untaken away in the reading of the Old Testament, which veil is done away in Hamashiach. So just like you had that, full blown nigga come up talking about he was an Israelite, but wasn't trying to preach no Yahweh Shai. This scripture is talking about this dude. He still has a veil put upon him that hasn't been done away with Hamashiach, because this dude's all about the Old Testament. But you see the Old Testament and the New Testament, coagulate together, because they're still for us. It was just rebound. But now it's through the Spirit. If it wasn't, then we would be needing to go find that Ark of the Covenant. So these niggas should have a totally different mission if they are just about the Old Testament.
And the thing is, bro, I just gotta understand how you feel that Old Testament. If you go read the New Testament, y'all talk to me that I was doing last night. I was saying if you believe Moses, you believe me because he spoke up. Y'all trying to say Moses spoke to him, and they got you said the side of the thing, and they took you back to the Old Testament. You see, he was the Old Testament, he can figure it, but they tell me the law of witness. You see, they ain't trying to do it. They try to do everything they can to disannoy the Messiah, man. Because of the enemy of the Yahweh Shai is everything, man. Without Yahweh Shai, you have nothing. Without Yahweh Shai, basically, you still on the law of man. See, you don't have no good. If you sit there with Yahweh Shai don't have. Basically, you tell your law, but you live your life by keeping the law so perfect. So now you got to do sacrifices, you got to do all the other things. When that's all they're doing, that's how you got to do Yahweh Shai.
Well, the Israelites weren't even supposed to be talking to these heathens, so which shows, all of us, what are we? Really, we're bastards. There you can't be. There ain't one Israelite walking around that's just full blood Israelite. We've all been, done fucked up and mixed up, and but through the Spirit, we all know we go back to Israel. Through the Father's seed, Khan, and but yeah, there would be no being brought back for us, because we're all abominable. But going on, back on verse 9 of 1 Kings chapter 8, it says, there is nothing in the ark to save the 2 tables of stone which Moses put there at Horeb, when Yahweh made a covenant with the children of Israel when they came out of the land of Egypt. And it came to pass, when the priests were come out of the holy place, that the cloud filled the house of Yahweh, so that the priests could not stand to minister because of the cloud, for the glory of Yahweh hath filled the house of Yahweh. Then spake Solomon, Yahweh said that he would dwell in the thick darkness. I have surely built thee an house to dwell in, a settled place for thee to abide in forever. And the king turned his face about and blessed the congregation of Israel, and all the congregation of Israel stood. And he said, Blessed be Yahweh, power of Israel. And as we're reading this, we got to keep in mind that, that this temple is now built up of bodies of men. So this blessing that we're about to hear, this prayer, really is directing them towards the brotherhood.
So I got a question. We reading this. This is a part of the Bible, right?
Con.
And this few verses alone, it says the congregation of Israel Christ, Yahweh, the Lord, power of Israel. So who is this for, man?
Con.
It never says anything about the whole world. Every time, even when you read throughout the scripture, it says Yahweh, the Lord God of Israel, tell my people Israel. You see, tell the heads of Judah, tell the heads of Ephraim, of Israel. It's all throughout the scripture.
Con.
Or go to the house of Israel.
God.
Yep.
Come on, man.
Con. Going on verse 15, it says, And he said, Blessed be Yahweh, power of Israel, which spake with his mouth unto David my father, and hath with his hand fulfilled it, saying, Since the day that I brought forth my people of Israel out of Egypt, I chose no city out of all the tribes of Israel to build an house, that my name might be therein, but I chose David to be over my people Israel. And it was in the heart. Go ahead, brother.
Well, like you said, brother, now it's a body of men, but wasn't it at one time that they're trying to rebuild the temple again?
Yeah, they after this it gets destroyed, or not, and besieged by the Babylonians, and then they get brought back during King I believe it's King Darius's reign, and he allows them to build it back up to a point, and that's it basically stays there until the Romans destroy it. And it's supposed to stay like that until the spiritually body, or the spiritual temple, is uplifted.
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about building a whole business, man.
Come.
See, that's why Yahweh said that my stone should not be left for the
Con.
stone should not be left one upon another. He told me to split it. Roughly paraphrased. And it's somebody built the very temple because they don't understand things. And that's because they only built the 35 books later. If they made it now into the scripture, we will read on how the Most High said he's gonna the dry bones, basically, you know what I'm saying?
Con.
The dry bones gonna be like the tabernacle of base as in the old. That's the thing people being built.
You got a lot of Israelite groups today that try to build things up currently.
Yeah, and that's why it's important to have the Holy Spirit, because if you don't, you leave things out and it doesn't make sense. You didn't with the law of Moses, the 75 books. The rest of it doesn't make sense, so you need to stuff out. It's prophecy that has come to pass later. What about the prophecy? You know what I'm saying? What about the dry bones? What do you know? If you come up with an Old Testament, right? Don't you know the only way you can understand it is according to Ezekiel 37, the dry bones being having a life? Read back in this?
And it sort of reminds me, it brings back into that Galatians all over again. You got Israelite groups that are doing that same thing today.
Like, come on, man. It's simple. You cannot get the true understanding of the scriptures unless you have the whole book. That's why I said, no. I come in the value of this and the
It just shows you that those men that were back then are here today.
Yep, those damn Pharisees, those wicked scribes and Pharisees, they back.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Just like, hey, that's what the scripture said what? The spirit of prophecy is the prophet.
Yep.
And this lets this count talking about, but lets you know how many prophets, it lets you know how many prophets the Most High had, man. You know, when a lot of he was complaining, he thought he was the only prophet. Most High said, nah, man, I think it's going to be not by the leads to the end of all, man. And this is what we're saying, man. The men of the men of this baseball, who come and all the Christian, the two guys that we have in the God, Lord, really, when you get to the end, see how those men, man.
Con. Yep. But yeah, I got another precept here. This is 1 Peter 2:4. It says, "To whom coming as unto a living stone." Now this is talking about that temple being built back up the third time. But it's referring to the stone as a living stone. It says, "Disallowed indeed of men." So now who is this talking about? It says, "But chosen of Yahweh and precious." This is talking about Yahweh Shai. And as you go on verse 5, it says, "Ye also are lively stones, are built up a spiritual house and holy priesthood to offer up spiritual," see, not physical, because we offered physical in the old tabernacles. It says spiritual sacrifices accepted to power by Yahweh Shai Hamashiach.
Yep. This ain't got nothing to do with the movement, man. It's all spiritual this time around. And people can receive it because they're not spiritual, man. That's why these new might come up and stop about shit. They want to be, and they have no idea that they be calling because they don't have the spirit of God like them. Just like people like people. They call themselves because they think they be out there, all white guns is on with golden sun. You know what I'm saying? Some type of majestic shit, but that's not what it's like to do, man. You're not doing that reality and, you know what I'm saying? What else you I always come up with the spirit, man. And then people can't understand it, they can't see it. That's why they're thinking about it. That's why they're doing it. What you guys do the work they got? You know what I'm saying?
You know what it sort of reminds me of? I don't know if your brother's ever seen that movie, or they even have a book of it. It's called The Bridge to Terabithia.
Con.
No,
It's pretty good. Like, so this kid and this chick and everything, basically, they go to this forest. They start hanging out, and they'll go to this forest and everything. And this chick's like, "Oh," she's like, "How could you not see?" Basically, it ended up getting to a point where, once this kid actually truly believed, and he could actually see all these different creatures and everything.
Is that what that one was about?
Huh?
I didn't know that's what that movie was about. I'll have to watch it again because the last time I watched it was a long time ago.
Yeah, because at first he couldn't see anything, and then she was telling him, you gotta really it's been a while for me since I've seen it too. But I remember the last time that I read the book too. But getting into it, that's basically how he could see all these creatures. Because I remember these kids even followed them because I think they were trying to whip his ass and everything, and all these creatures all of a sudden started getting they're throwing pine cones at their asses, but they couldn't see anything.
Con. Yep.
That's why that's fucking top baby Holly was talking about. What do you guys do to put it back? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What does that have to do with anything, bro? See, that's what we really think, man. If they need some balls like I'm reading the Bible, like, come on, man.
Con.
Like, bro, every brother in the Bible is brother. What are you talking about?
Con. Yeah, I got another.
Go ahead, bro.
Con. No, I got another one, Billy. Go ahead if you were gonna say something.
No, I'm just saying that doesn't fucking matter, man. It's like, and that's all you can do because he's too checked like the scripture.
Con.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You see people like, so I don't need that, you know what I'm saying? Just go back and forth with these niggas. Just bring the scriptures out, you know?
Yeah.
Ain't no, that's how you gotta get.
Yeah.
You got left for going to the bed.
Well, it ain't for him, man. That's why that we had that dude come up to camp, and he came up with just the cover for a Bible. All of a sudden, he had no words inside of it.
Nothing.
You know?
Hey man, you know, yeah, it's a lot, man. They can't do that. They can't do that with that spirit, you know. But they can only do it to be carnal, man.
We're not buying it.
That's why we have to stay in the script, you know. That's why the scriptures need to come out, man. You know.
This is 2 Corinthians 5:1. It says, "For we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved," and what's that talking about? That's talking about the flesh. It says, "We have a building of Yahweh, and house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens." The spiritual house. Verse 2, it says, go ahead, brother.
We already got the body set up for us, man. This is spirit. This is not our original body, man. We already got a body set up in the heaven for it, man.
Con. Going on verse 2, it says, "For if this we groan earnestly, desiring to be clothed upon with our house, which is from heaven." You know, brothers, man, we're wanting to be in the in those new bodies, man. We're wanting to, you know, be on the other side. We're wanting to be in the kingdom. You know, ready for you know, this carnal to become spiritual. Verse 3, it says, "If so be that being clothed we shall not be found naked." Right, and that's being clothed in the spirit. You know, not in the flesh. You know, so showing you how everything translated from carnal things to spiritual things from the time of the old to the time of the new. But you know, the those that were carnal, they couldn't receive them.
Yep, just like the Lord covered the land, that was carnal, man.
Con.
Everything's making a transition, man.
Yeah.
It's making a transition from the physical sacrifice of animals, of spirit, make that sacrifice to come with the sin, to the spiritual sacrifice, man. But we're not allowed the body making that sacrifice.
Yep. Going from being written on carnal stones to being written upon your hearts.
Upon your mind, man.
Con.
And what is the spirit? Your mind, man.
Con. Yep. Verse 4. Con. Yep. Going on verse 4, it says, "For if for we that are in this tabernacle do groan, being burdened." We're burdened in the flesh. It says, "Not for that we would be unclothed, but clothed upon, that mortality might be swallowed up of life. Now he that hath wrought us for the self same thing is power, who also hath given unto us the earnest of the Spirit. Therefore we are always confident, knowing that whilst we are at home in the body, we are absent from Yahweh. For we walk by faith, not by sight." So, you know, going into basically, you know, really both of the things, you know, all the things that we've been going into, you know, on this call, man. You know, we walk by faith, not by sight. You know, everything's been turned to a faithful thing and not a carnal thing. You know, we though we're in this flesh, you know, and we're in the flesh, we're absent from Yahweh. You know, we do what we can to be in the spirit, because when we're in the spirit, we're near Yahweh.
And that really does how people being in the wilderness, or even being by our people. They all the shit. The most I do it for our people to spend time, show all these good times and wonder, and down in Egypt, bringing in the fire, and still in the chair, and saying everything going on, and still in the wilderness, they're talking shit. You see? That's why the most people say no time now, man. He's not trying to get no time. It's all about faith, man. I'm here. It's basically what the most I say, I'm here, believe it or not.
That's right. I got two precepts just to back up what your brothers were just talking about. Romans 8:24. For we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man seeth, why doeth yet hope for?
Mm.
So, Con, just like you brothers were saying, you know, you know, we believe, and we believe in this truth, man. We believe that Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is gonna come back and redeem us um um from this place, man.
I got one for you that we finished, bro. This is Hebrews 11 and 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the evidence of things will be reported. Through faith we understand the world was formed by the word of the Most High, so that things which are seen were not made of things which are clear. You see? That's all we got right now, man. The Most High is going to put on time and 3 minutes to say fine.
That one scripture pops up in my head is that we're not of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because hey, you're called, and called to this, spiritually. Hey, man. And you see the true colors of things,
Because at the end of the day, the Most High who is really God for you. You know what I'm saying? We can show signs like, hey, man, it's like you real, bro. If a man do shit, like, I'm wrong for it. You know?
Just like I was talking to you, brother, about that one dude I was talking at work about, how people try to push things on when it comes down to religions and stuff. People try to force it on people. And he was talking about his auntie or something like that, and she's like Catholic or Christian or something. But he was saying, he's like, yeah. I think it was her husband or something, but he was saying that, he was talking to him and saying that you just had to have faith and this and that. I was like, and then I was telling the brother, I was like, honestly, I was like, faith in what, really, when it comes down to, these people don't know the real meaning of words, man. It comes down to, like we were talking about, faith in what, man? If you don't know what have that right understanding of it, what are you gonna, what are you believing in,
That's what y'all was saying, man. You got to know that yet. And that goes for our people, man. They use damn purpose, they don't know what they're racing, man. And look at they work for the simple damn purpose, you see? Them churches in the middle of the how about you right there, man. You see? All the things I'm going to tell you to do the most high is stupid. They only did it for the man of the Lord. I don't know how he's done it, but it's the man of the Lord. You know? Now I'm going to put something. Man.
I got another precept to out of the book 2 Corinthians 4:18. For we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. Having not hope, having not faith. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal.
Let me see, I have one over there. Let me see. I can get one over there real quick. Where was it? Let me get this right here. This is for example, chapter 15, chapter 2, verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passes away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever. Just going into what you just read, everything is in temple. You know? Everything is in temple, man. So if you love this stuff in this world, man, that's a carnal idolatry. But you can have things, but don't be so attached to it. When you got like every thing follow, you kind of gather your children because you want to keep. You know what I'm saying? the things that we're looking for this state, man.
Con,
This
and
for
that's like,
the invisible, you know what I'm saying? The invisible things, man.
con.
You know?
That's a demon, you know. That's a distraction that is put upon you. For sure, you know.
When they trouble pop off now, they think about the damn PS4 or no damn TV. Think about that real quick, man. But you gonna have people every day grabbing that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Con,
Like they just want to tell you something.
Con. But this is going back on it. 1 Kings 8:19. It says, "Nevertheless, thou shalt not build the house, but thy son that shall come forth out of thy loins, he shall build the house unto my name." And Yahweh, so, resembling that the house today is going to resemble the name of Yahweh. Not no name of, call whatever name you want to. Not for damn sure, not no name of Jesus. Going on verse 20, it says, "And Yahweh hath performed his word that he spake, and I am risen up in the room of David my father, and sit in the throne of Israel, as Yahweh promised, and have built an house for the name of Yahweh, power of Israel." It says, verse 21, "And I have set there a place for the ark, wherein is the covenant of Yahweh, which he made with our fathers when he brought them up out of the land of Egypt. And Solomon stood before the altar of Yahweh in the presence of all the congregation of Israel, and spread forth his hands toward heaven. And he said, Yahweh, power of Israel, there is no power like thee in heaven above." And these are the kind of things you got to remember when you're praying. There ain't no power like Yahweh. In heaven above or on earth beneath, who keepeth covenant and mercy with thy servants that walk before thee with all their heart, who has kept with thy servant David my father, that thou promised him. Thou speakest also, just showing examples. He's putting this prayer up of the truth and how Yahweh doesn't change. If he was just to go change his mind, when making promises, then how would anybody be able to take the things that he said for fact? Yeah, Khan. Going on, it says, "And hast fulfilled it with thine hand, as it is this day. Therefore, now Yahweh, power of Israel, keep with thy servant David my father, that thou promised him, saying, There shall not fail thee a man in my sight to sit on the throne of Israel, so that thy children take heed to their way." So, with this being said, it proves that Yahweh Shai came from the seed line of David. Otherwise, there would have been a lie right there.
Yep. Numbers 23:19. Most High is not a man that he should lie, neither is the son of man he should repent.
Khan. Yep. Going on, verse, finishing off, it says, "So that thy children take heed to their way, that they walk before me as thou hast walked before me. And now, O power of Israel, let thy word, I pray thee, be verified, which thou speakest unto thy servant David my father. But will power indeed dwell on earth? Behold, the heaven and the heaven of heavens cannot contain thee. How much less this house that I build thee? Yet have thou respect unto the prayer of thy servant, and to his supplication, O Yahweh, my power, to hearken unto the cry of and to the prayer which thy servant prayeth before thee today, that thine hands may be open toward this house night and day." And it's done so today through the Spirit. You got that his eyes be open unto the body. The brotherhood night and day. It says, even toward the place. And this is why we was catching Daniel was opening the windows to pray to the east, because he was praying to where the tabernacle once was.
Yep.
You know, trying to keep the customs to the best of his ability. And that's why, the only time where you find Jake praying after this point is to the east and with their hands up to the sky.
And they want to act like, and that's where the fucking Muslims take it from.
Khan. Yep.
Come on, man. Everything comes from the Bible, man.
Khan.
Everything, they have always been back in our culture, man. Even in our little states.
Khan. Going on, it says, Slovakia. Yeah. It says, my name shall be there. So, in the tabernacle today, his name is going to be there. It says, that thou mayest hearken unto the prayer which thy servant shall make toward this place. So, this is really the prayer that King Solomon did for any of us. When we're praying over there, just remember this prayer that he also did. It's almost like double up. And then on top of that, Yahweh Shai is taking your prayer and mediating on your behalf through it.
Yep. The thing is, the prayer he sent up, this prayer that Solomon sent up, is only for the elect. But 2/3 of Israel ain't born.
Nope.
Them niggas ain't praying for shit, but some carnal shit. Lord, let me hit the library.
Khan.
I promise I'll be another to the church.
Yep. Going on, verse 30, it says, and hearken thou to keep the supplication of thy servant and of thy people Israel, when they shall pray toward this place, and hear thou in heaven thy dwelling place, and when thou hearest, forgive. If any man trespass against his neighbor, and this is just another one too to show you who Solomon really was, man. Because who did he come back to be next? Yep, the one to bring that forgiveness, man.
This is the second time you pray for them.
Khan.
This is the first prayer. Maybe the second prayer that God 17. He said he prayed out for the Lord, but I'll get that we believe.
Khan. Yep.
See? Because the most high knows 2 days at one time. That's already written in one time.
Khan.
So why would you have pray there?
Right.
Well, the most high be able to read it. Pray not for these people because I was not with you.
Yep. Khan. Going on, it says, and that's what we were telling my sister the other day, man. She came up to me, and which, you might say a prayer or whatever, Matami, because we forgot to. But my sister came up to us, and she was, we might need you guys to do a prayer over me, or anointing prayer or whatever. And we just looked at her, because she was saying that, her stomach was hurting. And this is right after she got done talking about eating some goddamn like crabs or something. And me and the brother were like, man, the scripture tells you not to pray for the wicked. You ain't supposed to be eating that shit. So you really better believe if you're trying to get some prayers, you really better really believe, because the Most High ain't gonna hear no prayers for you if you ain't trying to do something about it.
Oh yeah, and it's just like every time, like it's been a couple times that she comes up to me. There's a couple times I did, but then there's a couple times. Well, it's been a while now since but she'll come up to me and asking me about it, and I was like, yeah, it's fine. And then I'll just, for some reason through the spirit, I'll just end up either getting caught up with something, or just end up passing out and tired.
Yeah, because we understand what it is, man. We love you or whatever the case might be, but we understand that death is going to be coming to these 2/3, man, and we don't have no bitter problems against the commandment about done by Yahweh Shem Yahshai. Khan, but it's lucky, but that's just going back on talking about the prayers not being heard for the 2/3. It says, verse 31, if any man trespass against his neighbor, and an oath be laid upon him to cause him to swear. And this is another thing that's done away with, is the swearing. Going back to what Yahweh Shai said. Let your say Lord willing. But it says, and the oath, because we're too impure to say any swearing by the name of the Most High. How do you know you're gonna be able to keep that shit, nigga? You could die tonight. But it says, and the oath come before thine altar in this house, then hear thou in heaven, and do, and judge thy servants, condemning the wicked, to bring his way upon his head, and justifying the righteous, to give him according to his righteousness. When thy people Israel shall be smitten down before the enemy, because they have sinned against thee, and shall turn again to thee, and confess thy name, and pray, and make supplication unto thee in this house, then hear thou in heaven, and forgive the sin of thy people Israel, and bring them again unto the land which thou givest their fathers. And this is being fulfilled right now, man. Brothers getting up and their prayers being heard, man.
I'm sure you have a precept, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, brother.
This is First Romans 7. Romans 1 and 7, Slovakia. To all that be in Rome, beloved of Yahweh, called to be saints, grace to you and peace from Yahweh, our Father, and the Master Yahweh Shai Mashiach. First, I thank my power through Yahweh Shai Mashiach for you all, that your faith is spoken of throughout the whole world. For Yahweh is my witness, whom I serve with my spirit in the gospel of his Son, that without ceasing I make mention of you always in my prayers. Somebody be lit.
Yo.
We're not praying for those people that are living. Praying for the men who are laboring in the street.
Yep.
That's what I say. Who are doing it, and people who are doing it in sincerity and truth. You know what I'm saying? You still have dudes in it who ain't doing it for that.
Yeah, that's what I say, man. When I pray, I always am praying for the elect in hopes that I'm part of who I'm praying for, and if not, then I'm praying for whoever the elect is. Going on verse 35, it says, when heaven is shut up and there is no rain, because they have sinned against thee, if they pray toward this place and confess thy name and turn from their sin, when thou afflictest them, then hear thou in heaven and forgive the sin of thy servants and of the people Israel, that thou teach them the good way wherein they should walk, and give them. Let me read it again. And of thy people Israel.
See? Come on, man. It's a wrap.
Yo. And give rain upon thy land, which thou hast given to thy people for an inheritance. So not no America, not no South Africa, not no fucking Russia. It says, if there be in the land famine, if there be pestilence, blasting, mildew, locusts, and this shows you that the people of Israel aren't really there. Otherwise, none of these calamities would ever hit that land. It says, or if there be a caterpillar, if their enemy besiege them in the land of their cities, whatsoever plague, whatsoever sickness there be, what prayer and supplication soever be made by any man, or by all thy people Israel, which shall know every man the plague of his own heart, and spread forth his hands toward heaven, towards this house, then hear thou in heaven thy dwelling place, and forgive, and do, and give to every man according to his ways, whose heart thou knowest, for thou, even thou only, knowest the hearts of the children of men, going back into the minds of the children of men, going back to the spirits of the children of men. Verse 40, that they may fear thee all the days that they live in the land which thou givest unto their fathers. Wherefore, concerning a stranger that is not of thy people Israel, but cometh out of a far country for thy name's sake, for they shall hear of thy great name, and thy strong hand, and of thy stretched out arm, when he shall come and pray towards this house. Hear thou in heaven thy dwelling place, and do according to all that the stranger calleth to thee, that all the people.
My bad, bro. Now, what is that stranger? Is that talking about the heathen? That's all the Israelites, man.
Con.
He just always justified the heathen. Israelite form.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep. Con, because because the prophecy shows that there were going to be Israelites coming from all nations.
Yep. Why? Because according to Deuteronomy 68, it's not a king Solomon knew that. You know, Israel should be scattered about all nations, man.
Con.
Because just like you know, the land of Israel is but so big, bro. You got so many Israelites, everybody can't fit. You know, in that land is comfortable. So they do different parts of the world, but they never even come back for the Passover and that. Come back to keep the Passover, see everything. It's like talking about a reason. Most of the time, doing it the reason.
Con. Yep.
Come on, man. But we need out of context. I know.
God, finishing off that verse 44, it says, if thy people go out to battle against their enemy, Salaki, I think I might have skipped a little bit. Yeah, finishing off verse 43, it says that all the people of the earth may know thy name and fear thee, as do thy people Israel, and that they may know that this house which I have builded is called by thy name. If thy people go out to battle against their enemy, whithersoever thou shalt send them, and shall pray unto Yahweh toward the city which thou hast chosen, and toward the house that I have built for thy name, then hear thou in heaven their prayer and their supplication, and maintain their cause. If they sin against thee, for there is no man that sinneth not, and thou be angry with them, and deliver them to the enemy, so that they carry them away captives into the land of their enemy, far or near, yet if they shall bethink themselves in the land of their captivity, whither they were carried captives, which again is being completed today. You know, you got brothers bethinking themselves, man, in the land of their captivities, in the land of our oppressions. Come. What?
Let's see.
Can we keep going, brother? It says, and repent and make supplication unto thee in the land of them that carried them away captive, saying, we have sinned and have done perversely, we have committed wickedness, and so return unto thee with all their heart and with all their soul in the land of their enemies, which led them away captive, and pray unto thee toward the land which thou gavest unto their fathers, the city which thou hast chosen, and the house which I have built for thy holy name, then hear thou their prayer and their supplication in heaven, thy dwelling place, and maintain their cause.
I guess right here, bro.
Con.
Root 2. and 29. If you will not hear my voice, then this very great multitude shall be turned to a small number among the nations where I scattered them. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is the their people. But in the land of their captivity, they shall remember themselves.
Con. So, Jake is remembering themselves in the land of their captivity. Didn't say in your own land after you're brought out of your captivity you're going to remember me.
Yep. Yep.
So this prophecy is being fulfilled today, man. The valley of dry bones coming together and able to see. Go ahead, brother.
I was in there, bro.
Oh, con. Let's see, verse 50. And forgive thy people. So showing you that, this whole prayer, man, was really prophecy as well. Getting into the Israelite foreigners, getting into the body coming together. It's not nothing to marvel at. He was talking about the Israelite foreigners coming from all nations, and then he was talking about them being in the land of their captivities throughout all nations. Con. Yeah, because when you're praying, man, the spirit just jumps on you. The spirit just jumps on him, and prophecy just started coming out. Hey, Salakia, hold on one second. Salakia. Going on, it says, and all their transgressions wherein they have transgressed against thee, and give them compassion before them who carried them captive.
And that's what's happening right now, bro.
Con.
The most I think the compassion is going to give us our hands back, giving us our money back,
Yep.
allowing us to repent, That's the compassion you have to live out. That's it. Because at the end of the day, what is the sin of Romans 9? All Israel is not a
Con.
So like the whole scripture is just for the elect, man.
Con. That's right. That's right. Going on, it says, carried them captive, that they may have compassion on them, for they be thy people and thine inheritance, which thou broughtest forth out of bondage from the midst of the furnace of iron.
I gotta remember. Hey, man. This is Amos, chapter 3, verse 1. Hear this word that Yahweh has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all sin. Hey, man. Hey, it's only us, man. It's only us demons. Because how can these scriptures read these scriptures and think we can praise them?
Con.
You got it, bro.
Con. Going on, it says, 52. That thine eyes may be open unto the supplication of thy servant, and unto the supplication of thy people Israel, to hearken unto them in all that they call for unto thee. For thou didst separate them from among all the people of the earth, to be thine inheritance, as thou speakest by the hand of Moses thy servant, when thou broughtest our fathers out of Egypt, O Yahweh power.
So what can you say about that?
Con. Going on, verse 54. And it was so that when Solomon had made an end of praying all this prayer and supplication unto Yahweh, he arose from before the altar of Yahweh, from kneeling on his knees with his hands spread up to heaven. So with his hands closed and sitting on a pew.
I know, right? Saying, talking about God is God is good. Lord is good.
Yeah. Or talking about how they do in that Catholic church, saying their rosaries and just repeating one after another.
Yeah, don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Going on verse 55, it says, "And he stood and blessed all the congregation of Israel with a loud voice, saying, Blessed be Yahweh that hath given rest unto his people Israel." And just like it goes into like we're breaking down Hebrews chapter 3 and chapter 4, this kingdom, this ancient kingdom during Solomon's time was the time of rest. It was basically an hors d'oeuvre of the kingdom of heaven that will be established here on earth, the eternal one, which will be our eternal rest.
That's the only rest we ever had so far being on the earth, man.
Con.
That's what it is in the Christ. King Solomon, bro.
Yeah.
That the most high allowed King Solomon to have. That's the only peace that our people have ever known, man.
Con.
We have been in captivity more than we've been free.
Yeah. All our people have known, man, is Esau's way of living, and Esau's way of living is the complete opposite of rest. Because I was talking to my brother's woman from the Philippines about basically about just American life.